Am I up?
Drace, yeah, we can hear you. Killing tape.
They say the globe is true, just go to outer space. But that's a Sisyphean fallacy, a flawed embrace to prove the earth is round. They say divine the why, but fallacies surround us like stars in the sky. Oh, grow believers, your logic's askew. Understand the fallacy, see what's true. Knowledge and reason, let them be your guide in the search for truth. Let wisdom decide. They say show the flat earth, the picture will suffice. But that's another fallacy, a clever disguise, asking for the proof that they can't provide. It's the Sisyphean task where truth and lies collide. Oh, globe believers, your logic's askew. Understand the fallacy, see what's true. Knowledge and reason, let them be your guide in the search for truth. Let wisdom decide. Identify the fallacies, the flawed, twisted claims. Recognize the patterns, the deceptive games. With logic as our armor, we stand tall and proud. In the battle for truth, we speak clear and loud. Oh, globe believers, your logic's askew. Understand the fallacies, see what's true. Knowledge and reason, let them be your guide in the search for truth. Let wisdom decide. So learn the fallacies, let curiosity ignite. With logic and truth, our future is bright. Test it yourself, you can do the math. For in knowledge and reason, we'll find our true path.
All light is trying to hide the globe from us. So it bends down around the
Oblate spheroid.
No, it's that big. It's just impossible to find the geometric horizon.
And why is that?
All light is trying to hide the globe from us. So it bends down around the globe, making it appear flat regardless of what you try to do. So only thing we can do is use a curved lens to warp horizontal lines to make the horizon appear to curve, because, you know, it's so big. Does that make sense?
No, it does not make any sense. You are telling us to ignore our senses for a belief. In essence, that is just another claim. If all the light were bending around the globe to make it appear flat, we would be able to detect that. Light refracts at different rates. And why do flat earthers account for this by taking measurements at target and source, while globe believers just have ad hoc excuses? or it must be because my Earth is a ball?
Well, it must be because Earth is a ball. Everyone says so. All the scientists believe it. So why should I not?
Because that is not a rational stance, if the evidence speaks against the stance. Appealing to popularity or imagined consensus of vague authorities, which by the way are in heavy disagreement at this very moment concerning gravity, it is a cosmological crisis. That is your cosmological worldview that is in crisis. Why do you ignore the evidence presented, and why don't you try to falsify your excuses to know if you are right or wrong like the flat earthers?
I don't need to. The television will tell me when I need to know.
So why do you then obsess so much about the flat earthers? If they are so wrong in your mind, why can you not leave them alone?
I need them. Without them, what am I? A fat, violent loner who no one likes. The other globe zealots love me long time, so I need this.
So no more globe arguments then?
I don't need any more. I won this debate. Hashtag globe life. Next time, come prepared. Flathead. Maybe use something other than word salad.
Oh, he disconnected. Well, I guess we all heard enough of this narcissistic word salad and these incoherent lines of argumentation. And I think the audience gets the point. This has been AI Warden Wiederson speaking with AI Fight the Tight Shirt. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, be blessed.
No problem.
Welcome to the...
Sit down. Good morning, my children. Now, I am in charge of this show. Prepare your behinds for an explosive assault of your senses. Welcome to the Father Ball's experience with the Lunar Tick.
It's the Lunatic Show, Father.
Not anymore. We need new theme music and better guests. You keep getting wrecked. These darn flat earthers are so charming and good looking, it's hard to concentrate on the holy fallacies. I understand, my child. But that is why I have a secret card to play. I invited a friend from the fraternity to come on the show. He should be arriving shortly.
Ooh, goody. Who is it?
I have a few friends lined up already, but this one is a special one, handpicked by Father Son himself, so he wears the vest that signifies his importance to the secret societies. Since he's not arrived yet, I will play a short clip to showcase his brilliance. I know you will know him as soon as you hear him speak. The world's most famous astrophysicist, a man in a league of his own, Wieldegas Bison.
Bison? But the Flat Earthers use him, and Fight the Tight Shirt said he was wrong.
Flat Earthers are wrong, and Bison will prove that. Fight the Tight Shirt is just a moon caught in your orbit. His opinion means less than yours, and mine supersede yours. Just shut up and listen to the glory of the Wieldegas Bison. Hear him regale you with his brilliance. Listen close.
But I also had a guest. He's waiting outside.
What the hell, man? He can wait. We play the clip.
One of the great challenges in this world is knowing enough about a subject to think you're right, but not enough about the subject to know you're wrong. There's like a gazillion hours of me on the internet. In almost every case, I'm talking about the universe, black holes, the Big Bang, time travel, God. But what I'm gonna do in this masterclass is teach you how to think. The goal here is to train your mind how to see the world differently, how to question what others say. I've come to realize that there are three categories of truth: personal truth, political truths, and the objective truths that shape our understanding of the universe. The interesting thing about an objective truth is that it's true no matter what. Imagine that. By the time we're done, you will be equipped with some of the methods and tools so you can turn data into information, information into knowledge, knowledge into wisdom. We all have susceptibility to bias. Search engines on the internet are the epitome of confirmation bias. And you're going to use that as evidence that you are correct? No. The good thing about science is that it's true whether or not you believe in it. What does it mean to be skeptical? What does it mean to be convinced by data? A proper skeptic questions what they're unsure of, but recognizes when valid evidence is presented to change their mind. I will equip you to not only find objective truths, but then communicate to others how to get there. It's not good enough to be right. You also have to be effective. The less connected you are to what is objectively true, the less likely you will be able to make decisions that will benefit your life, the life of your family, and even civilization itself.
Now, that is a master class. When he arrives, you better be on your best behavior, McClune. Now, who the hell is this guy waiting outside?
It is Craig McFaddy. Mon, please, Papa Balls. You said it was okay, please.
Okay, but if he annoys me, I am throwing that fat fuck out of here. You hear me?
Yay! Thank you. I will buzz him in. Do we have an ETA on Bison?
That globular masterpiece should be here any moment now. I keep texting him, but all I get back is this eggplant emoji. Do you know what this means?
I don't know. I am not hip like the kids. He's probably hungry or something.
Hey guys,
Shut up and go to the corner over there. Take your mic with you, but don't speak unless spoken to. You got it?
Sorry.
but I know the secrets.
Shut up, you nitwit, halfwit, fuckwit. I ain't here to listen to your nonsense. We got a god coming in a few moments. Pipe down before I spank you.
But the eggplant.
Shut up. No one cares. I did not ask you a thing. Get some control of your minion, McClune.
Oh my God, Craig. Don't make me look bad in front of Father Balls. Go sit in the corner. We will talk to you later. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Our glorious expert is coming. This is a bona fide living saint of our religion, boys. Prepare yourself to be in the presence of something so divine, your face might melt of literally in a figurative manner.
Is this the right place, Father Balls?
Yes, welcome, my brother. I once peed next to you in the bushes at the Grove, remember?
Not really, but it was probably dark. So that is most likely the reason. I just got told by your uncle this would further the cause. So here I am. What do you need me to do or say to get this over with?
Well, brother, we are dealing with those pesky flat earthers again.
Oh no, not the flat earthers. Don't tell me you set me up and have a flat earther here somewhere, because if you do, I am leaving. I am not about to debate them. You know the motto, right? Imagine they don't exist. Only way to cope in bliss.
Of course, your excellency, great wild stallion of the sun. I would never dare offend you in such a way. Please admonish this servant.
You at least know your place. That is good. Who are these other troglodytes with you? The box-shaped one at the table and the spherical one in the corner.
They are simple but devout followers of my congregation. The freakish-looking box one is my personal disciple. The other one is his pet. I was hoping they would be illuminated by your grace and wisdom.
Makes sense. Now, what is your problem with the flat earthers?
They are just not stopping my liege. They keep trying to tell everyone the truth, and the holy fallacies don't seem to be working as well anymore. They seem to be hip to our tricks, and so just disarm them and make us look weak. Can we not, get some good evidence, like seeing the majestic curves of Mother Earth from an airplane or a weather balloon?
No. You won't see the curve from 2 millimeters of the surface of a beach ball? You just won't. That stuff is flat. The horizon is equidistant, and you only see a tiny portion of the Earth. Even the ISS is too low, and so requires fisheye lenses to curve horizontal lines. So, we feel good about those pictures. Otherwise, there would be so many flat earthers. Can you imagine?
Ah, I see. So it's a test of faith. Only the truly devout can understand that there is no curve there, but still hold the faith. Makes perfect sense. Praise be the Gravitron and Bob and Todd who helped make him make mathematical sense.
So we shouldn't use those pictures and claim it's Earth curve?
No! That is handing the flat earthers an easy victory. Just look at the videos where the images come from. They can just point at the curved horizon when the balloon is still on the ground and be like, look, you are an idiot. Or when at maximum altitude, they look at the land mass and size of the sphere and oops, you got planet New Mexico. That is why we tell people to avoid going over any evidence with the flat earthers. They will beat you with experience.
Exactly. Don't ask dumb questions, McClune. So what about our prophets? Can we not just slam them with superior doctrine? The holy sticks and shadows surely cannot be countered. It's divine inspired.
Ah, you underestimate the trickery of their heresy. It does not work either. You need to look at the nuance of it. Our prophet made a few assumptions that we cannot test. And by changing those variables, the flat earthers can get the same results on a flat plane. So it proves nothing. If it did, the Chinese would have proved the flat earth doing that exact thing. So we must reject it. Took me a while to understand this, as I thought maybe if I add more sticks, but that does not actually have any difference.
What? 4 sticks did not work? But I would have thought such a genius idea would have worked. I mean, you said so.
I postulated that it might not work, but change parameters and it does. Pseudoscience is also a fickle bitch. Right, Father?
Ah, yes, like an angry blue-haired woman. You need to know when Mother Earth is PMSing, and so you must ride that bitch like a dolphin on the dunes of the Sahara.
Faith is a large part of our religion. We just keep that on the down low, you know? Everyone does not need to know that. But you should know all this, since you do have a theosophy doctorate in scientism, Father Balls.
You do remember, you do know me. Stop playing coy and kiss me, you animal.
No, not right now. Focus on what I am saying.
Okay, so maybe it's because it's divine inspired. That is why it requires a certain degree of faith. Makes sense. But our most high God of gods, the gravitron, is scientifically proven though, right?
No, because it's more of a fundamental force that is not a force. So the gravitron is hiding within the thing we call mass. But since we cannot manipulate him and can only imagine that he is warping space and time, which we cannot detect either, but the consequences of that, we believe, is things falling down, you see. So we can measure the rate which things fall at. We know both the prophets Newton and Einstein were fundamentally wrong, since neither idea works with observations or experimentation completely, but working partially is enough to get people going, and it confirms our belief, so their work is sacred.
Oh, okay. There is naturally going to be an element of faith because it is a religion, but there must be something that we can use to clobber the flatties with, like just saying stuff like satellites.
That might sound good on the surface, but how does that prove anything either way? It's not like they can go and confirm the satellite is doing what we claim it's doing, can they?
No, I guess not. But don't they need to explain everything, creating a new cosmology if they want people to leave our cult?
No, that is the real problem with objective truths. They are very hard to fight, so we can only combat it with subjectivity. Do you understand?
Yes, of course. There could be 10 wheel-de-gas bisons in this room right now, I don't know. Therefore, I must accept your authority on the matter. My senses might tell me there is one, but like my senses tell me the earth is flat and non-rotating, I cannot trust anything except the approved authority, right?
That is correct. We stand on the shoulders of giants, as you well know. So it's important for us to try to maintain our facade of intelligence. You cannot be giving the flat earthers easy victories. You need to obfuscate and not address the question, talk about them, not the evidence.
Why try to do that? But they just call it manipulative tactics and mute us.
Shut up, boy.
No, it's all right. You see, your problem is that you are going on their platforms and trying to convince them we are right. That is impossible. We can only misrepresent them throughout our media platforms. Any attempt to fight them with home field advantage is like sticking your hand in the wood chipper. They won't allow us to use fallacies and manipulative tactics. Just like if they were on our platforms, we would interrupt and mute them to prevent them from making a coherent argument. It's all about optics, boys.
Flat earthers also say it's all about optics.
They generally mean it in a different way. They're talking about how optical devices destroyed the foundation to our beliefs and or optics in general. It's why I don't want that conversation. It's just going to end poorly for us. So focus on manipulating the people they talk to rather than them. Focus on the unsuspecting victims who have no reason to doubt your fallacies or manipulative tactics. Does that make sense?
It does. But also not our foundations are fine. Why would you say they destroyed them?
They claim to have all this empirical evidence that would falsify our religion. So to avoid the complete collapse of the religion, the best thing we can do is obfuscate and hide this evidence. This should not be this difficult to understand. Your disciple is stupid, Father Balls.
Oh, I know he's an abject retard. Everyone knows it. But he's better than that other one. Say something. Fatty?
No you. Skinny, non-globular truck face.
What the hell did you say to me, boy? I ought to whoop your ass?
No, wait. This is good. Note how he's not addressing what you are saying and just reversing it back with absurdity. This is what you should be doing.
Oh, well, if the great solar bison of the plain says so, I cannot disagree. I suppose Fight the Tight Shirt is now my primary disciple. McClune, you go sit in the corner.
No.
Yes, right now.
But this is my show, damn it.
I don't care. You belong to me. Now sit down and shut up. My beloved disciple, Fight the Tight Shirt, come join us.
I have to go. I have places to be. I am a busy man. You must understand that.
No, please don't go. I need your glory to fill my empty vessel.
But I must. But thank you for this. We can do this again. You have my number now, Father Balls. Don't misuse it. Have a good one.
Woe is me. He left. Look what you have done, McClune. Why can you not be more like McFatty over here? He's quick-witted and hyper-intelligent. You can see it by how much the globular gods have blessed his earthly form.
Thank you, Father.
Can I sit at the table now? We need to end the show.
Sure, whatever. I got better things to do. Come, Craig. I need to show you the mysterious dance of the balls.
Okay.
Well, this has been MC Loon and a whole host of other fuckers. This might be the last show I make if they keep treating me like this. Pay me pity bucks. I need them now more than ever. Goodbye.
Don't know. I don't know Mew. I don't know Pigaroby.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
just. Sorry, but I was in the toilet.
in it. Okay.
Yes. I taking, I don't know how to tell in English. A poo. I'm poo. So this channel is for flat earth.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I don't believe NASA. I don't believe how they tell us the space. But how can you sure the Earth is flat?
Well, you measure the waters of the Earth.
I know. The water cannot curve, no?
Yeah, but if it's a ball, it needs to curve, so you measure the waters, and if the waters aren't curving, then the Earth isn't curving.
I don't know. I'm 70% convinced the Earth is flat, but I am not certain. I don't trust NASA, etc. Very, very strange.
I like your white horse.
Do you have some proof, video proof or something.
What kind of proof are you looking for?
I don't know, some videos. I see a lot of things of flat Earth. But if you have other proofs,
Yeah, I mean, we've got laser tests. Those are pretty good. I can put some in the chat for
okay,
you.
yes, thank you.
Oh yeah, somebody already, DJ already put the
Okay.
Great Salt Lake laser test, 21 miles, no curvature. You see that one? Oh, and then Drace put the Dr. John D peer-to-peer
Okay.
laser tests. Dr. John D, like many of us, set out to try to prove the globe and ended up realizing that these laser tests, as well as many other observations and measurements, show that the curvature predicted by the globe is not seen in reality.
Yes, the globe is very strange. I don't know. I don't believe it. No, I don't know. I feel it. It's strange.
Well, if you look at these, study the laser tests, the long distance observations, maybe make one of your own, then
Yes, no.
and you don't have to feel it. You can know it.
Yes, I can know it. But for 100% sure, we must go up in the sky. Or
Nope. Don't need to
laser.
go in. Nope. Don't need to go in the sky. If there were curvature,
The
we would
water.
be able to observe. If there were curvature, we would be able to observe it on Earth. The curvature would obstruct objects in the distance. That doesn't actually happen.
Okay. Yes. I don't believe in evolution. I believe in God.
Okay. Do those two things necessarily negate one another?
What? Sorry?
Do those two things necessarily contradict one another? God and
Evolution?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes. Evolution is, if I believe in God, the evolution is impossible.
But couldn't one say that God began the process of evolution?
Because I believe in the Bible, and the Bible says he created from nothing. And the evolution is not science, is a theory. We cannot go in the laboratory and explain the evolution or the Big Bang. It's a fate. Evolution is fate, like a Big Bang, etc. It's not science. Dimmi, amore. Certo. Ah?
Did you guys talk to Mew? MEU? I mean MEW?
Not yet.
I don't think Mew is new. I think he's a return customer.
Oh, okay. He's back for more. He's here for those clearance globes.
Finish him!
.24/7 flat Earth.
Mary, Mom, is that you talking?
The last thing I said was
Okay, yeah.
clearance globes. What is it you would like to know?
Yeah, I just wanted to know who's talking. Drace? I think it was Drace or Chronix.
Yeah, I wasn't making the weird announcer sounds. I wasn't doing that.
Yeah, and about curse. I mean, the way I formulated that he is very disrespectful because for 1 hour, I think it was DJ. Yeah, DJ was asking him if he can explain the lack of curvature, and 1 hour, I think it's too much because then it indicates that someone is not taking your arguments, which are very clear and logical, not seriously. And then he became so insulted that instead of going into the questions of DJ, he started complaining about me. And no one can deny that the Globers use much. Actually, to call someone this is disrespectful what you're doing is not a foul language, or is it? You can correct me if I am wrong.
Oh yeah, Berserker. I mean, you expressed yourself. That dude was the way he reacted to what you said, which was, not even that serious, was he was way out of line. I mean, he was a total jerk. Yep. And then he was even
Yeah,
meaner
and
to me than he was to you. I was actually trying to defend him, trying to like smooth
yeah,
things over, and then
that's
he started
what
attacking
annoyed me
me. Like, oh yeah, thanks, guy.
because you tried to defend him actually, and then he starts to complain about the chat that everyone is calling him Globetard, and you know that Globers most of the time, especially 1 year ago or 2 years ago, I mean, even a couple of weeks ago, some of them they come and use very foul language like idiots, flat Earth idiots. Yeah, flat earthers have low IQ. Flat
Yeah, the people weren't. I didn't even know people were putting the term globetard, but they weren't even using it against a person. They were just using it as like calling the globe a globetard, but the guy like was triggered by that. So, yeah, I mean, basically just gave him an opportunity for an out. So, I mean, DJ was kind of like really getting through to him on the information, and he was probably getting uncomfortable about it. So then then he got an opportunity to kind of start whining about us, how they do, the tone police, the freaking out on the personalities, That's what they do when they get uncomfortable about the information. They just start attacking the people. That's just the normal pattern. Yep, you gotcha. Yes, hello. I don't know, somebody else said something.
I think it was me. I didn't
Oh, maybe it was just you. Yeah, maybe it was just you. Yeah, so I mean, it was fine. You didn't do anything terrible. He just was being
Yeah,
very
and I was
sensitive.
listening. I think almost an hour. I was listening, and I didn't say anything. That was the only sentence which I said.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, that's just yeah. I mean, you don't have to feel like you did some terrible thing. He wanted, I mean, really, I guess I was taken in by him coming in. I don't think it was, DJ said he's giving him the benefit of the doubt or whatever. I don't think he came in from the beginning as a setup, because he came in from the beginning saying, oh, you guys are so great. You're so nice. You're nicer than the Globers that come in. You're like the nicest channel. Then he turned around and like retracted his endorsement because you said something that hurt his feelings or whatever. It's kind of like, yeah, okay, well,
Yeah, but
it's but
that's not
it's
you.
yeah, I should not have fallen for his
Couple of
little buttering up at the start. It's kind of like, yeah,
couple of
well,
months
whatever.
ago. Yeah, sorry for interrupting you, but couple of months ago, Egg. Previously, he was called eggshells are flat or something like that. Now he calls himself only Egg. He has also the avatar of an egg.
Yeah, he's a known
He came
pest.
What?
He is a known pest.
A known pest?
Known. We know of him. He is a pest.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to say to Mary Mom, that couple of months ago, I can remember how nice started the conversation. Egg started the conversation. How much he even said he loves flat earthers because arguments are. But they have that you have low IQ. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, like I shouldn't fall for it either way when they're like talking about how great we are or how terrible we are. I mean, it doesn't matter if we're great or terrible. Just look at the information and, analyze it and stop worrying about who's bad, who's good, who you like, who you don't like. Yeah. It's just an excuse for them. It's just a distraction.
Exactly. But for us, it has nothing to do with the person, the partner of the conversation we are arguing with. The only thing we are asking is, look, we were all Globers, and we can see the horizon behind the rig oil, which is the oil rig, which is at 9.4 miles away, and that doesn't match the geometry of the globe. Can you please explain that? And even once, I think it was Heretic. He formulated it very nice because they said it's a refraction bringing the horizon behind the oil rig, and then Heretic said, "How could a hill be in front of a thing and obstruct it, but appear behind the thing and not obstruct it?" Something like that. How can that hide? How can that the thing that is hitting another thing appear behind the other thing?
Yeah,
It's a very simple question, and the way they elaborate and try a lot of eloquency and to weasel themselves out. Yeah, after a
yeah, that's
time.
what. Yeah, you just got to be alert to their techniques. I mean, that's the other thing that guy was doing too. Is they have their like preferred flat earther, and like there was a guy in here. I can't remember who it was. Globe believer that didn't want to talk to Indio at all. He only wanted to talk to Mike. It's like, can you please stop interrupting my conversation? When they just have to talk to whoever talks to them in here, but they have their little pet flat earthers. It's like that guy was doing that too. I only want to talk to DJ because he's the only one who's nice to me. He's the good flat earthers,
Yeah,
and you guys are all the bad ones. Where DJ he is very good. I mean, I totally agree. Like, I would want to talk to DJ too if I were a Glober, but you don't get to pick and choose who you talk to necessarily.
Sometimes they do. We let them choose.
That is true. But that guy talked to DJ for like an hour. Yeah, he had to listen to somebody else like occasionally.
I give one of them the offer one night. They can talk to me or talk to someone else. They chose the other. What a shame.
Would you guys agree that globies are also flat earthers?
Everyone lives on a flat earth. Absolutely. I totally agree. Yep. Everyone is a flat earther because they all clearly live on the flat earth and the globe only exists in their imagination and their delusional thinking. What do you think, Heretic?
Well, I think like whether they believe they're on a flat earther or a flat earth or not, I think the fact that they come in here and like linger on the flat earth, they talk about the flat earth, it takes up space inside their head, they eat, sleep, and breathe it. They're flat earthers too.
Hey, Heretic, I didn't recognize you. You changed the avatar. Are you in the real
there's another
Heretic?
No, this is a different Heretic. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I thought his voice is different and accent
I'm
also.
the first Discord heretic.
You're the American Heretic. I think the other Heretic is Australian or English.
I'm theology heretic. He's flat earth heretic. I'm from the theology servers.
Okay.
Yes, he has a C. I think our Heretic has K. Don't you think so?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, what is your current Heretic? What is your position regarding the globe?
I think the globe's dumb. I'm a flat earther, obviously. I know that nobody's going to space, and I believe that if the Earth, the flat Earth, is locally lit and heated by local moons and suns and stars, I think that the edge is absolute zero and perfect dark, basically nothingness and molecular stasis. I think the Bible speaks of this. I think that's what Tohu Wabohu is, the periodic table with a construct and numeric form. And I think that those things are localized in one spot. I don't think that there's a universe. And I think it's dumb that a globie will be like, oh, flat earth pizza flying through a solar system, even though it's like, hey, no solar system. There's no pizza earth flying through a solar system with an orbit. But if I was them and I believed that dumb stuff too, I would probably think the way they do, and I'd come in here with radical straw men. But seeing as I actually have an aptitude to back up my low IQ, I'm not stuck on a spinning globe with spinning ideas. Also, Katy Perry is hilarious.
Katy Perry.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that is one of the main problems we have is that sometimes, I mean, depending on how the conversation starts, like it takes a while to realize that the person is coming up, in here with a preconceived notion about what flat Earth is, and it's often that it's really just kind of a flattened globe, right? Where they keep everything else, but they just flatten out the globe. Yeah, and that's just very silly. Yeah, obviously we don't think that.
Well, yeah, it just shows that they have no aptitude to back up the IQ. If they're told that there is no space and solar system and the Earth is flat, they're instantly like, well, I'm going to keep the solar system and I'm going to flatten the globe and then I'm going to that's stupid. How you believe in that? You stupid. Like, yeah, God, it's so. Yeah, I don't want to say irritating because it's not entertaining. It's not irritating. It's just like it's like trying to teach a kid the alphabet, where the kid's like just refusing to just at least get to E and F. You know what I mean? They're like, no, I'm going to skip those. F that.
And by the way, I don't know if I'm digressing. By the way, if it's really insignificant, the Earth, and we are also insignificant, then why the first thing Katy Perry did after she came back and landed on Earth? she bowed down on her knees and kissed the earth. Doesn't make sense.
Super hilarious, though. It's like, dude, you were up in the sky for like 5 minutes, maybe, dude. Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. And if that was the best thing, being high in the sky, then why is she bowing down and kneeling down on her knees and kissing the earth? Like she's so happy having the ground under her feet.
Yeah, didn't those supposed and alleged castaways on the ISS? I'm pretty sure they didn't do that when they came off for the cameras. Like, they didn't even kiss the ground. What is this?
Because they were never in space. Bro.
Did you hear she's suing? She's suing Jeff Bezos, I guess.
Why?
Yeah, apparently she's suing Jeff Bezos for tricking her and other people into thinking they were going to space when they didn't really go to space.
This must be a joke. Maybe she became a flat earther.
I just remind them. That's what I do. I find the cleanest weapon is just to be like, well, you know what? You're not going to space. Nobody knows going to space. You're going to die down here on the flat Earth with the rest of us. You're not going to Mars. You're not getting no Jupiter colony. It's not happening, dude. You're a lunatic. You're going to die down here on the flat Earth with us.
Yeah, exactly. After all, ashes to ashes, we are Earth. Our bodies are made of dirt and earth.
Yeah, that is pretty sad. They've got all these people thinking, yeah, they're going to go off to some fairy tale realm instead of just focusing on their life on the earth.
Yeah, you guys have seen the movie The Island with Ewan McGregor and I think maybe Charlize Theron?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
I'm so smart, I get to go to the island. That's basically what they're doing with this whole globe system. They're like, well, if you go anywhere, you're not going to see anything new and you're just going to come right back around. So you might as well just stay here and do 47 years of minimum wage and then retire for 5 years until they tell you to stop taking salt and sugar so your organs shut down. Then they put you on blood thinners and turn you into a Simpsons character. And then you die.
I haven't seen that one. Would you recommend it?
It's called The Island.
Sugar out of your diet? No.
No.
The island. No, I mean the movie. Would you recommend the movie?
Yeah, it's actually a really good movie. It is an amazingly good movie. It's wicked.
Okay, yeah. I'm always looking for a good movie to watch. I'll put that on my list.
Super action. It's got like an all-star lineup of cast. It's got some new modern vehicles in it. It's got some really great conspiracy concepts, and like, I think it's one that most flat earthers should probably enjoy.
I think it's from the 2000 or 2010, something like that. So at least 10 or 15 years old. The movie.
Oh yeah, it's
still good.
It's ahead of its time.
Yeah.
They got these guys in an underground lab they have them working thinking that there was this biological war on the ground. And what it really is it's a facility where people pay high amounts of money for clones, like athletes or celebrities or rich boat builders and designers like Gucci people. They pay to have themselves cloned so that they can take the organs or the stem cells from them, and then they just kill the... So what they do is they do a fake lottery where they say, oh, you get to go to the island, a habitat outside the zone, blah, 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 that's unaffected. But they actually bring you to the hospital that's like on like the 3rd floor or whatever, and then they chop your organs out. But like, they get busted, and then like, all hell breaks loose because these two people, Ewan McGregor and Charlize Theron, break out. Then they meet up with like Steve Buscemi, who's in engineering, and then like, yeah, it's pretty wicked.
I love that guy. He's from Fargo.
It's so good. It's actually probably one of my favorite movies.
Fargo. That was a dark movie, Fargo.
Oh, I actually don't think it's dark. No, I think the message at the end is very clear. Yep. Why would you do all that stuff just for a little bit of money?
Yeah.
When it's a beautiful day.
Yeah, people don't understand the power of a decimal point. Like, just because, like, you live at a certain tax bracket, like if you're a millionaire, you're going to live at the same quantity, just the decimal points over. So your boat's going to be 100,000 instead of 10,000. But you still got the same bill and the same drainage and, like, X-flow versus inflow usually. So, yeah, they got the bigger house, but they don't use all the space. They got the bigger, nicer boat, but like it drains a lot of their inflow. Like it's just the weird trap of thinking that you need more to have more is insane. Where you could like actually live at like a 0.00 tax bracket and live just as luxurious. It's insane that people think that being a debt slave is how you get freedom. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I learned that when I was in college in Ann Arbor, and I was an environmental activist when I was younger anyway, so I was working for Greenpeace, and they would send us around like the poor college neighborhoods of Ann Arbor, or just the poor, like hippie neighborhoods and so on, and they'd be like, we want to save the whales, here's money. Like, we would make way more money there than we would, like, we went to Grosse Pointe where, we would think, like, you go to these giant McMansions where they had yachts and everything, and, obviously, you'd think tons of money, right? But I remember this lady, like, giant yacht, in the yard, huge McMansion. And she said, oh, I really would like to give to Greenpeace, but all the bills we have paying for all this stuff, like, I literally have no extra money. That was kind of like the illustration to me. It was weird because those people in that neighborhood were like clearly way more stressed about money than the poor people who are just like renting this kind of dumpy house who, they're still like living within their means. And yeah,
Well,
definitely.
Yeah, you now have a bigger bucket, but the hole in your bucket that drains the water is also bigger. Unless you're like one of the top 100%, but somebody who lives making 300,000, like a financial planner or whatever, they're taxed like so huge. Like unless they're really smart, which most of them are, they'll find ways like they'll donate toys or like use gas as like company vehicles, stuff like that. Simple ways to like save a little bit and skim a little off the top. But they're like their bills are higher. Plus, the government takes way more from them. So, like, they're not really any much further ahead. They're still a debt slave. They're still a 47-year severance. Like, that's what they are. Like, human beings as an economy and as a resource to a country is your minimum wage, the taxes and the dollars and the taxes spent off those dollars over 47 years. And then they basically bracket that, and that's what you're worth at initial value. 18 to 65, you're working at minimum wage, and the tax generated off that is your base value as a human resource, and that's attached to a social insurance number or whatever. And then like that's how they trade economy, and like how they can have $1 billion debt, and like, you know what I mean? Like generating it, because that all comes from like what humans can potentially produce. That's even in video games, like random number generation on potential damage. Like, for example, World of Warships has it. So your potential income and your potential production is also considered in the future, like based off their plans. Like when you go to a bank and then you have like a plan to borrow money and then like generate income off that, you do up like a business plan and then you ask for a loan. Well, countries do that with other people also based off what their country can potentially produce with manpower. It's disgusting, but they were like, oh, you want to end slavery? Boom, you're all slaves.
So what was it that led you to realize that the Earth was flat, Heretic?
Photo or painting by Math Powerland. Kind of started, one of my buddies was like, hey, Izzy thinks the Earth is flat. And then I was like, what? Izzy also thinks he has a dinosaur egg? I was like, hold on a second. I'm on my way over. I'll grab a bag of weed. We'll print out some pictures of the globe. Then I went to his house. And then we were downstairs, me and Jake, and we were looking for pictures of the globe. And then next thing you know, it's like 3 hours later, and we're laughing at a bunch of computer animated stuff. And I was like, all right, so we're not printing off any of this garbage. I was like, what the heck is this? And then basically the next 3 days, I was kind of like tinkering around with a lot of the flat earth stuff I was seeing. So I ended up seeing this video called Photo or Painting by Math Powerland. And yeah, sat there and pissed myself laughing for about 20 minutes. And I was like, you know what? I'm in. I'm sold, dude. This is as real as it gets, obviously. I was like, I thought I knew what was going on. I'm like, this clearly proves that, like, people are dumb. We are dumb. I don't even know if Germany exists. Like, I don't even know if, like, Big Ben's made out of chocolate. Like, whatever. And I'm not going to space. Nobody else is going to space. There's no colony. Branson's freaking space flights, Virgin Galactic, that's been always next year. I look at the freaking Felix Baumgartner space flight, and like from the bottom to the top, the whole thing's curving. And I'm like, listen here. I'm like, how come I can only get some footage up to 120,000 feet, and everything you're showing me is GoPro with fisheye lens? I'm like, this guy, Photo or Painting, has actually pointed something out here, and then he kind of fell off the edge when he had his separation and divorce, and I was like stuck on flat Earth. It was like, yeah, whatever. Nobody's going to space. F that. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
Cool.
All started with my idiot friend that thought he had a dinosaur egg.
Did you say you sat down with Jake? Do you mean Jake the asshole?
No, Jake Dad Bacon.
Oh, another Jake.
Yeah. And then I was convinced. And then I would say one of the most convincing factors was the fight back. Like how mad people were getting about it. I was like, holy jeez. I was like, this is striking a nerve somewhere in the sensitive imagination parts of the brain. I'm like, is this the frontal lobe, the temporal lobe? Is this the occipital lobe, the parietal lobe? Which part are we lighting up here? Because I have a feeling most of your brain's not working. And then, like, they're just the arguments they would come up with, like, oh, the Earth is too big to see the curve. But then in the same sentence, like in the same 10 minutes, you can get them to be like, we see boats going over the curve. You're
exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Aren't you?
Exactly. We see boats go behind the curvature in 3 miles distance or something like that. But still the horizon appears behind the oil rig, which is at 9.4. Make that shit make sense. So
And then I was
refraction in the...
when I factored in the idea of a local sun, like the sun's closer, that means the sun's closer, that means the moon's closer. The minute that it was pointed out to me that the sun and moon are roughly the same size in the sky, I was like, wait a second. So you're telling me these boneheads will tell you that it only appears the same size because it's 400 times bigger, but it's 400 times further away. And I was like, all right, so you live in an optical illusion. That's what you want me to believe? That we all just live in an optical illusion? Well, then if optical illusions exist, Can't fractal lensing explain the sun setting? Because you can do the same thing with a Fresnel lens and a candle.
How can you prove optical illusions?
What's that?
How can you prove optical illusions?
I think that's pretty easy. You can do the standardized test with people in that little graph where it makes the battery look bigger. But when you're sitting here talking about a horizon that's an optical illusion, it's like proving where a rainbow ends. The closer you get, it's going to change. Like environmental factors and humidity in the air play a huge part in this, of what you're seeing. Because like it looks a lot different when you're out in the ocean. That's why you get seasick.
Can you elaborate on like the standardized test of what you were talking about earlier?
Oh, with optical illusions, where you put like parallel lines that are slightly offset, and then you put an object on them, and then you ask somebody which one's bigger, but they're actually the same size, but which there's one that appears bigger. Most people will actually just take the bait and be like, well, this one looks bigger, but it's actually not.
That in SpongeBob.
What's that?
I remember seeing that in SpongeBob, I think.
I first saw it in psychology books. There was actually this optical illusion test that they were doing on babies, where they would put a glass floor, and then they put lines on the stairs, on this like large step, like a meter, and then so that it was clear and visible that like the floor drops. Like it was like what do they call that? Not glorified, but when you highlight something. So it was just it was a dramatic drop. It looked like a dramatic drop, and they were trying to get babies to crawl off it by painting an optical illusion to make it look like it would drop off and fall. And actually, like,
but the baby's okay if they did that.
Well, yeah, there was a glass floor, so they couldn't really fall. But they proved that babies have depth perception.
Oh.
They wanted to test like if cognition in babies was smart enough to perceive depth perception or something like that. So they used optical illusions on a floor to make it look like the baby would fall, but the baby wouldn't be able to tumble like a whole bunch of like feet. They also did something with a shed that looked like it was a full square structure from one angle, and then from the other angle you'd walk around it, and it clearly was just a bunch of sticks set at like 90-degree angles and cut.
But what if they did it with adults instead of babies?
It still has the same effect. The reaction is not much different in optical illusions. Babies don't realize what they're looking for.
I got glass on my stairs, and I know the glass is there.
Interesting. I know what to do with that.
Why don't we mute him?
Please don't mute me. I'm sorry. Please don't mute me. Please, please, please.
It's like digital duct tape. I think Flat Earth to the Globies is secretly like Nickelback to music fans. Like they're like, shut that garbage off, but then they're like secretly singing it when the windows are up.
Yeah, I think that's true. There's a lot of closet fans of Flat Earth.
I think Flat Earth for the Globies is like a silver bullet for the vampire. Yeah, I'm melting.
Well, also, like it deletes a lot of things out of their whole worldview.
Yeah, to me, it's like jerking off to furry porn. You know, you wouldn't admit it, but you do it.
Well, that makes that makes
your
one
volume is very low. Release me. Your volume is very low.
Yeah, we don't need to hear any more from him, Berserker, whoever was encouraging him.
Okay. Yeah, he's a global. I thought
Yeah, you're better off if you didn't hear what he
not.
said.
Do not say.
It's a good point.
But
Don't
you
even
see
fucking
how
say my
fair I
word.
am, Mary, man. I'm nice to him even when I knew that he's a global. The
I
way he
opened up to
acts.
you
What is
guys.
this?
I thought
I
it was
thought I was
easier. I
coming
opened
into
up
a
to you
flat
guys,
Earth.
and this is what I get.
I thought I was coming into a flat Earth server, and this looks more like a Diddy party. What is this?
Was anybody have any
Amen.
questions about the flat Earth?
Yeah, do you guys find that the moon actually looks like it's electrical discharge cratering, not impact cratering? Because if you look at
Yeah.
electrical discharge
Awesome.
cratering,
What's that got to
steel.
do with the shape of the ground?
Well, well, nothing, because I don't think that
That's
the
what I thought.
chandelier. I don't think the chandelier has anything to do with the shape of the floor. I think that's a horrible globy argument to say, well, everything in the sky is round. All the things are round. Don't you think that means we're round? No, dude, my light bulbs are round. That doesn't mean my floor is round. Anyway, check out electrical discharge cratering on steel, and then check out moon craters. Super interesting.
Bro,
It's a hot dog.
even that. Sorry.
How come if you go up really high, you can see slight curvature of the Earth?
Yeah, nah. Show us where you've done that.
On a plane?
Oh, roasted.
You've been
On
on
a
a
plane.
plane.
Neil deGrasse Tyson told us. Neil deGrasse
Have you not
Tyson
been on a
told
plane?
you.
You know what? Maybe your eyeballs are flat, bro. That's probably your problem. You're seeing curved Earth. Maybe your eyeballs are flat. Something's
I've seen
wrong.
a picture.
But Neil deGrasse Tyson, your priest, your high priest, tells you that you cannot see even, not even from the International Space Station.
You can see it.
He said you cannot see it. That stuff is flat. He says that stuff is flat.
So are the
So why
pictures
do you
just fake
guys,
then?
if you believe it's a globe, why do you think that they don't show you footage of the Felix Baumgartner jump from the ground up? You know
I'm not
why they
sure.
don't
Well,
show
let me
you the?
research
You
that
know
up.
why they don't show you the elevation of him going up into the sky? A, it takes really long. B, it's because the Earth is curving at 40 feet on the footage. Okay, that's why the Earth is
I'm
curving.
looking at it right
40.
now, and that does not look like 40 feet.
Yeah, they start filming at like 80,000, 90,000 feet in any of the footage you're gonna see.
I'm
Why
sure
don't you
that's
look in the
vertical
chat?
thing.
I'll show you a perfect example of what I'm talking about.
Wait, what?
Look,
Hold on.
Felix
There's a chat.
Baumgartner, when he moved to stand at the door to jump, you could see that the capsule started to vibrate. I don't know. Sorry, my English is not my, English is not my mother language. It looked like the capsule started to vibrate as if it was fixed to a wall. You can look at the video. Nothing which is hanging from a balloon can shake like when you have a stick fixed on a wall and you pull it or press it and let it go. You can look at
Do
it.
you hear
That's
how
stupid.
ridiculous that sounds? It's hanging from a balloon. Of course it's gonna shake. Something attached to a wall wouldn't really shake, you know?
Not shake. I said vibrate. It's like when you
I
have
don't know about
something
you,
fixed
but my
on
walls
the
don't
wall.
vibrate. My walls don't vibrate.
Yeah, I told you. Look at the video. I told you English is not my mother language. I told you
Yeah.
can look at the video.
How do I look at a video?
If you cannot see what your eyes shows you as an observation, as the horizon behind the oil rig, which is at 9.4, then you have no right to tell me that it's funny what I'm saying, because you sound very dishonest and disingenuous. Because there is no way that refraction, the heretic with the K said, how could refraction, something which is hiding, which is in front of another thing and hiding it, bring it behind it? But of course, when boats go at 3 miles distance behind the curvature, then there is no refraction for you. Why doesn't the boat come suddenly in front of the curvature? When something which is much further, 3 times further, that is 9.4, is coming miraculously in front of the bulge of water, the refraction cannot cause that and make the horizon appear. So when you are so dishonest,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, when they are so, all the time they are so dishonest and require from us to disbelieve our eyes and blindly believe their high priest, and then they come and they tell us how funny it is what we are referring to, what we are seeing, animalities, I don't know how you call it, strange things in the videos. This is the problem with them. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just telling you he wasn't going to be able to respond because I muted him because he was making weird sounds. So that was kind of like at least his third strike, maybe more. But yeah, so yeah, we've got Hot Dog and Ish. I don't know if there's anybody else with a serious question about Flat Earth.
Okay, I have a question. So you know when you look at the sky, right, and there's like the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So why do they have different? Why do you see different constellations in both, like at the same time, if it's like a flat Earth? Does that make sense? Okay.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like it doesn't make sense to me that the Earth's flat and you wouldn't see the same sky from both ends or whatever you guys believe in. But if there's a northern hemisphere and a southern hemisphere, obviously they will have different constellations on both sides. So what's the explanation for that if the Earth's flat? It doesn't really make sense to me.
It's the same reason you can't see the same streetlights from the north part to the south part and the south part to the north part.
But they're not the same constellation. Okay.
Yeah, it's not the same streetlights. You're looking at the streetlights above you. That's the only ones you can see. You can't see the streetlights to the north end of your city if you're in the south end. They're outside your field of view.
Yeah, but you do realize, like the way we've been presented with like a lot bigger field of views of what we can see, and they all present the Earth as round instead of flat. Like you see cameras going up in the sky and whatnot.
You know when you're out on a boat and like you look out into the distance and the sky touches the water? You know it's not really doing that, right? It's where your perspective like converges. So like you look down a hallway, the floor comes up, the walls come in, and the ceiling comes down. That's where your horizon is. That's gonna be with you no matter where you go. You go to 120,000 feet, you're gonna see that. You go to 40 feet, you're gonna see that. That's what you're gonna see. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the eyeballs are curved and light enters at an angle, and then you need a lens to flip it around. Probably one of the reasons. But I'm not a biologist, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Yeah, the main thing, Ish, is that whatever you're seeing in the sky doesn't necessitate a globe. So what we focus on are the measurements of the ground and demonstrating how the expected curvature that would be geometrically predicted if we lived on a sphere, you would have a geometric horizon where you would have an edge where you would not be able to see beyond if you were standing in a ball. And that is at a measurable distance that we can show you if you're interested the calculations of where that's expected to be.
Yeah, can I see them? I actually do wanna.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
May I ask Ish? May I ask Ish?
Yeah. Go on.
About if I can use the same tactic which she is using, because I can see this is the tactic of the Globers, and I will ask you. So you're asking this question with a purpose, or thinking that the goal of this question, or you would achieve with this question the debunking of the flat Earth, right? Because it's okay. To be honest, it's difficult, even though it's easy to answer it by saying what is happening in the sky has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth, as Matrix said. But this is the tactic you are using, right? So you have debunked the flat Earth because we have difficulty to explain that, right? Then may I use the same tactic and ask you, how can we see very, very calm and exact circles of star trails when the Earth is rotating around itself, and then it is rotating around the sun, and the sun is shooting into space also. It's rotating also around itself, and all those things are rotating around the center of the galaxy, and the galaxy is rotating about around another part of the universe. I forgot how is it called. So how could you expect from a logical thinking person to conclude that after all these wobbling and rotating and shooting in space, how could we see perfect circles of star trails, or on the equator we would see one straight line and another line bulging to the right and another line. But in all cases, it's not chaotic. But if we were on a rotating Earth, rotating around the sun shooting into space, and rotating around the center of the galaxy, and the galaxy is rotating around the center of the universe, which name I forgot, then this is
So
impossible.
definitely, yep, all that's impossible.
Yeah. So
And
I could claim,
so what I put on
that we
there,
flat earthers debunked.
Yeah.
We debunked it all. It's all a fairy tale. I agree, Berserker.
Exactly.
So yeah, if we lived on a globe with a radius of 3,959 miles,
okay,
it's demonstrated geometrically that this curvature could be measured, that it would be increasing at the rate of 8 inches per mile squared, which is what I put. One of them is a more detailed chart with a diagram at 18 minutes after the hour, and then a little bit after that. It just shows you the predicted curvature at different distances. So at 1 mile, it's 8 inches, and then since the rate that's calculated, they are using the geometry of the sphere is 8 inches per mile squared. Then at 2 miles, it's going to be 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. At 3 miles, it's going to be 3 times 3 is 9. Times 8 is 72, divided by 12 is 6 feet, and so on. And then you get up to 10 miles, it's 66 feet, 20 miles, 266 feet, and so on. So, many people in here have different observations. They like to talk about the one I would prefer to tell you about, because it's the one I've seen with my own eyes many times, is the Chicago skyline across Lake Michigan. So you see on that chart that at 50 miles, there'd be 1,666 feet of drop. At 60 miles, 2,400 feet of drop. So most of the observations across Lake Michigan of the Chicago skyline are between 50 and 60 miles. It's a common sight in southwest Michigan that you can see the skyline of Chicago across Lake Michigan. This particular image I put in there at 21 minutes after the hour is 52 miles away. So according to the calculations we just told you about, it should have over 1,800 feet of curvature hiding the tallest building completely, and yet we can see the skyline. So that's, our basic argument, and then we just have various different observations. But, the globe, it's a false conjecture, right? So it's a mathematical prediction we're talking about, that if we lived on a globe with the radius of 3,959 miles, then there would be a curvature measured at the rate of 8 inches per mile squared. And so this kind of conjecture formed in this way only requires one counterexample to disprove the faulty conjecture. So I've got the city of Chicago, which I've seen on numerous occasions, but it only takes one, and we have thousands of them. So basically, we just see too far to be on this globe, because you understand that if you were standing on a ball, objects would be hidden around the curve of this ball. And even though sometimes people who are they either do not have a good understanding of geometry, or they might even be consciously trying to deceive you, or they're just uninformed, they might tell you it's too big, but that's not the case. You would be able to easily measure it. Objects would be obscured, and then there's also the distance of where the horizon would be. You can often see the horizon beyond the point where you would see it if you were on this claimed sphere.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, did you have any questions about that? Did you have any questions about that?
Yeah. No, that's okay, alright. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, as long as you understand the basic argument. I mean, that's the main reason why we're here, because it's totally possible, because it happened to me 10 years ago when I first started researching the flat Earth. I did not hear about the geometry because some people will tell you everything under the sun, and in the sun and round the sun and the moon, like you want to talk about the stars and all those things. And they'll never get around to telling you, nope, the Earth just measures flat. There's no curvature anywhere, and it would be visible if possible. So I feel I will sleep better tonight knowing that Ish has at least heard the argument one time.
Thank you. So what about, pilots are taught how to...
Ish, you have in the checkbox, in the chat box, you
I'm
have
reading it.
an observation from Mount Canigou at a distance of 259 miles.
Yeah, but you have to realize you're a lot more up there as well, like on a mountain, so obviously you can see people far away.
I think 800 feet, the photographer was at 800 feet. Nevertheless, he should not have seen only the top of the mountain. Maybe he should have seen, but you could see the entire mountain at 259 miles. It's incredible.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not possible. It doesn't match the geometry and the maths which Mary Ma'am showed you with the. I can post the measurements and the curvature again.
Yeah. So did you have any other questions about the flat Earth?
No, it's just more like when people, there's pilots and stuff out there. I'm pretty sure. I feel like a lot of people just assume that the Earth's quite round in general. So
yeah, I've got a video for you about 19 pilots who say the Earth is flat. And yeah, we've met many pilots who understand that. Pilots treat the Earth as flat and stationary when they're flying. Just as it appears, they don't account for curvature.
Okay.
Pilots are trained to fly the aircraft. They're not trained to know what the surface of the Earth is.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't really have anything else to say.
Even NASA admits in their documents that the Earth is flat. To calculate the path of airplanes or spacecraft, the mathematicians must assume a non-rotating flat Earth. There are
That's just an assumption to make calculations easier, though. It's not like an actual. That's not them saying that the Earth is flat.
But you have to agree. But you have to agree, if you would like to calculate the path or the projectile of, let's say, intercontinental ballistic missile, you cannot use the geometry of a flat plane if we are indeed living on a spherical. I mean, the surface of the sphere is calculated in a different way than the area. The area of the face of the sphere is calculated with a different formula than the area of a circle on a flat paper. You know what I
Well,
mean?
then it also depends on like how big the area is, I guess, like how big of an area of Earth you're looking at, because it really doesn't make much difference when you compare the two. Is all
when a ballistic missile is traveling half the way of the planet, that is comparably in comparison, that is the half of the face of the sphere. So it's not a little bit anymore. And nevertheless, to tell us all the time that the Earth is too big, but at the same time, boats disappear behind the horizon when they go 3 miles away. Does not make, this is double speaking. Excuse me, I'm not trying to be unpolite, but
no, it's fine.
this
It's fine,
is double
Dory.
speaking. Yeah.
I think it's more for simplicity more than anything. But if that's how you guys think of it, just being a bit ridiculous,
Yeah, like
whatever,
the story of Santa
enough.
Claus.
It's more what? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said. It's more what did you say?
For the sake of simplicity, she said.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. It's for the sake of simplicity, for why they do the maths a bit differently, just to make it easier.
That's because it's because it's what works. It's because if they tried to account for curvature, they would crash. I mean, if they were going along and like going down, they would have to keep nosing down to go around the supposed curvature, and they don't do that. So, yeah, it's not just it's reality. Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. Well, if anyone else has questions, they should go for it. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, DNM has questions. Go ahead, DNM. I guess he only wants to talk in the chat, in the text. Well, if you want to speak up, feel free.
Dandelion.
Yes.
If Chicago is flat, does that make it a deep dish pizza?
Oh, I wish. Now you're going to make me hungry. There was this amazing Chicago-style pizza place around here that, has been there like since I was a child, and they only closed like, I don't know, 3 years ago or so. I was so disappointed. They made the best pizza around. It's hard to find a good pizza place now because everybody because the frozen pizza's gotten so much better that a lot of the good places have closed. But yeah, that's a good one. Oh, Jenna's trying to make me hungrier. She said she grilled some beer brats.